Alright guys, I thought I'd do a video with you guys tonight. I know it's been a long time. Uh, just had a few things going on. Had a pet pass away recently, and I just haven't been in the mood to do a lot of videos or anything for that matter. But I figured I'd share this video with you tonight because there's a comment that was made that kind of got underneath my skin a little bit. And the comment was made when I did the review on these gear wrench ratchets about the ball detent location and how I did not like it. I feel that it's too far down here towards the bottom. And when you install the socket, let me see if I can find an impact socket here, and you line it up with the detent, this prevents the socket from coming off. I didn't like how the travel was in here. Sometimes this detent is a little bigger or a little smaller depending on the impact socket. But what I did not like about it is the socket has a tendency to slide up and down. Now, impact socket does not have multiple dimples inside the socket here to hold it. And the comment was made is that I'm doing it wrong. Well, if you're using the impact socket on a chrome ratchet, this is how it is intended to be done, so it does not fall off. Or if you're in the engine bay using it and you pull it out or it gets stuck on the bolt, it doesn't slide out. You can see there's a little bit of resistance there, but it just slides right out. Now, a chrome socket, doesn't matter what position we put it in. We have 4 positions. It will lock in every one of them. The comment that I made was I did not like the way Gear Wrench designed their detent, and it pops out. This is a chrome socket. Push it all the way in, slides forward. That was a Mac socket. This is an SK socket. It's not as noticeable on this one, but it still does it. Here's another Mac socket, and that was an SK socket as well. What was this one here? This was a Matco. Not a Mac, a Matco. This is a Mac. You can see that it travels. I do not like that about this ratchet. But like I said, the comment was made that I am doing it wrong. And for those that don't know anything about impact sockets, this particular impact socket has a hole in it. And this is for your hog ring. If you look inside of it, it's going to be hard to see because we don't have any lighting here. But there is no dimples inside the socket, any holes or anything to hold this on. Because what this is made for is this hog ring that's on your anvil for your impact gun. So when you slide this in, you see the resistance in there holds that. You see that ring will prevent it from sliding off. The friction fit is going to hold it on there. But as you can see, there's only one hole here. Now if we take our chrome socket, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice the locations of these, they're not that far down. Now if we slide this in here, it's going to lock in there real good. The problem that we're going to run into is going to tear up our ring here. A lot of people say it's because it's a chrome socket. The chrome socket does not help because the material it's made out of, it's a little harder than an impact socket. The chrome is not aiding in any fashion to, to prevent wear on this. It's just going to tear it up. But when we go to pull this out, it wants to get hung inside of these detents. It's in here on the chrome socket. And this is what's tearing your ring up on your hog ring on your impact guns. Like I said, if you look in any true impact socket, you won't find those little dimples inside there. You're going to find this hole right here. This guy. Some are small, some are bigger than others. I got a 1/4-inch socket here. Same thing. True impact socket is not going to have those little dimples in the socket. One hole. Everybody thinks this right here is actually an impact socket. This is not. If you look inside this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just a reducer. This is a industrial finish. As you can see, it says Snap-on it. If you read it, it says warning, non-impact, max torque, 2,000 inch-pounds. So you can see this is not an impact. You see, obviously I've been using it for an impact, but this is not for an impact. This will probably get stuck on your impact and tear up your hog ring. That being said, I have a Matco one here. It does not say anything on here about being non-impact. Look inside here, there's no dimple, no dimple, no dimple, one hole. So this is going to work great on our impact. I'm sorry, we got a 1/2 inch one here. That was a 3/8. So it's going to work great on our impact. It's not going to get stuck and tear up our ring. Now if we want to use chrome sockets, we have a ball type detent. It's going to go on here. It's not going to get tore up. Doesn't matter what position we put it in, it's going to stay on. This is how I use my chrome sockets on my impact. Not that you're supposed to use them with impact, but unfortunately these sockets are a lot thinner than a lot of your impact sockets, and in certain situations you're going to have to use a chrome socket to get the job done. If you're a flat rate person, you'll understand this. We'll move on to another adapter here. This is a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. Once again, you see no dimples in here. You see one hole, no dimples. And we can use this on our 3/8 as well. This is just a cheap one. It's probably not going to hold up very well, but like I said, for all intents and purposes, this is what I usually use these reducers for, so I can get my chrome sockets into places that I wouldn't be able to with my impact socket. So as you see, I got a bunch of them on the table here. This is my snap-on ratchet, and has a Detent 1/4 inch socket. We'll show you that in a minute here. We'll go back to this Capri socket right here. You can see I'm lining this hole up. You can see that there's hardly no movement here compared to the other one. This is a Matco. If I plug this one on here, we have nothing. It does not slide up and down. Got snap on. There's no movement there. But like I said, if I take this guy right here, take any of those sockets I just showed you. Once again, I grab the 1/4 inch like a dummy. This is 11/16. There's the hole. And this just has to do with where they put the detent system. Just the way it is designed. Looks like maybe a little bit smaller ball, a little bit closer to the end here. Like I said, I do not like the socket coming off like that. I do not like having to slide it on and off. But like I said, this comment was made because I was told I was doing it wrong because of that hole in the impact socket. And as I said, a lot of people do not use impact sockets on a chrome ratchet. I do. That's all I really have in. Let's see if I can get this one to do it here. And once again, this one does it as well. So, but this was the complaint that I have with the gear wrench that I do not like, as far as this 100 I believe it's 120 tooth. Yeah, 120 tooth XP. That is my complaint with that ratchet, and like I said, this comment came about that I am doing it wrong. As far as I can tell, I am not doing it wrong. The manufacturer has done something as far as their tolerances to meet their socket specifically, or their ratchet specifically, because as I showed you, we don't have this problem with any of the snap-on ratchet here, or even their previous gear wrench ratchet is even not doing it. Well, even this one does it, just not as bad as that one. So this is something to do with the gear wrench itself, and this is something that I do not like about it, that I can't, use my other sockets and have the same compatibility. I do have some snap-on sockets out here as well. These are impact, and like I said, you can see in here there is no dimple or hole down inside the socket here. Just this one socket. That is why these are impact. Not to mention the material that they're made out of. These snap-ons seem to be softer than most. You see that they tend to round out in the corners, around the edges, in the square here. Show you one that I have been using. This is a 9/16 that I have been using. It's not as prominent or shown in here on this one. Look in here, that's not rounded out as much. Just a different material that was used. And this is a Capri socket. This is a 9/16, and this is a snap-on. So as far as impact material, I mean, there's obviously different impact materials out there. But the main difference is a true impact socket has a hole here. And I'm going to show you one more. This is an older snap-on, I believe, if I have it here. I may have traded it in already, but I could be wrong here. But some of these guys have two of them. I believe that I already replaced it. I had an older one that has a pin on both sides, and a lot of times that is so a pin can pass completely through the impact and make it part of the impact to where it does not fall off, usually from construction work, bridge work, if you're working on skyscrapers or something like that. And usually there's a groove around the bottom of the socket here to where you can put an O-ring on it. But those are true impact sockets. Anything with a single hole here with no indents inside of here is actually a true impact socket, which is meant to use on a hog ring. That will not destroy your anvil and tear your hog ring off all the time. But I just wanted to share that with you guys and explain a few things as far as impact sockets and chrome sockets, and the initial like I said, the initial reason why I did not like this style ratchet. Like I said, this ball detent is further down on the bottom of here compared to the snap-on. And if I put those sockets on there, they had a little bit of play where they would move in and out and pop in and out of the detent. And like I said, I did not like that. The comment was that I was using it wrong. It just blows my mind that people just don't understand simple mechanical concepts. But I figured I'd share that with you guys. And before I go, I'm going to share a few more with you. And it's not just, snap-on that does it. I mean, I have a Pittsburgh socket right here. Same thing. No detents on the inside of it. Just one single hole. See if I can find another one here. I believe I had some cobalt ones here as well, but that might be wrong. Nope, I have a cobalt here. It's a 23 millimeter, and regardless if it's a cheap impact socket or not, if it's an impact socket, true impact socket, one hole, no dimples on the inside of the socket. Here's another Pittsburgh, just a cheap wobble socket. As you can see, one hole, no dimples on the inside. Even got a snap-on wobble here as well. Look inside of it. We have no dimples, just that one hole right here. You even have some Cowhawk cheap swivel universals here as well. If I can get them off the rail here. And these are, as I explained before, these take an O-ring around the side of it. They have a pin that goes completely through, so you would put the pin through the impact. If you had a hole in your impact anvil, you you would put the pin through it, put the O-ring around it. Socket obviously would not fall off, so if you were up in the air on a bridge or whatever, and this is the most common socket you used, it would not fall off. You wouldn't have to worry about, you wouldn't be able to change it. I shouldn't say that. You could change it in the air, but the principle behind it is you're not going to lose it in the air. It's not going to fly off. If you pull the trigger when you pull it and it goes flopping around, it's not going to go flying off. One of the other things I want to explain as well is with these sockets, just like a ratchet or anything else, you get enough weight behind it, it wants to fall off. So we have, this is 17/4 inch. Here's our 11/16. I'm going to put this on this rail. If I put this on the outside here, this isn't going to stay on here. If this falls on the ground, more than likely the socket's not going to stay on here. If I flip this around and line this detent up with this ball on this rail, this guy's not going anywhere. There's resistance there. The ball is actually through the hole. It's not going to fall off. If I take a chrome socket, it's really not going to matter which way I put this guy on. It's locked on there. It's locked on here. It's locked on here. It's locked on there. That's 4 sides. Like I said, you see them little dimples in there? That's what holds that socket on there. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a chrome SK. These are going to be harder to see in here, but there's one right there. One right there. The dimples are smaller. One right there. Right in one right there. There's 4. Snap-on socket. 1, 2, 3, 4, guys. Mac. 1, 2, 3, 4. Macco. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 1-inch Detent. This is a true impact socket. There is no dimple there. There is no dimple there. There is a hole here, which is your pin that goes through, and not one there. Oh, that was a hole again, but not one here. You see I'm running a pick down it. It's not catching. There is no hole there. Like I said, if you want a true impact socket or impact reducer, it's as simple as looking inside of it and reading the outside of it. This particular one right here is an impact socket. It's listed as an impact socket. There's no dimple here. There's no dimple here. No dimple here. On the outside of it, uses a simple detent system ball, which usually is not a impact or recommended for impact, but they sell them that way. Why, I don't know. But this is what I use on my chrome sockets, as I said, because this locks on there. It does not destroy the socket. It does not destroy the detent system in here. And if I decide to put this guy on my impact gun to use it, I don't have to worry about it getting caught on my hog ring and tearing up my anvil on my impact gun. Once again, like I said, this is a snap-on. Read the outside of it. This is your typical reducer that you're going to get. It's going to be listed or sold as impact. But if you read it, it's a GSA AFIF USA. But go down here to the bottom, like I said, it says right on it, it says warning, non-impact, max torque 2,000 inch-pounds. Look inside of it. Dimple, dimple. Actually, that's all. Yep, dimple, dimple, dimple. There's 4 dimples on this. There's not even a hole in this one. So we got 4 dimples in here, just like a chrome socket. This will probably get hung up on your impact gun, tear up your hog ring on your impact gun. Like I said, this uses a simple ball detent, and it is a serviceable piece. So if it does break, you can push this pin, pull this guy out, and service it. I have a shallow one here. This is a 20mm Mac. The whole set same way. Look inside there, you see that little dimple. Once again, dimple, dimple, dimple. Like I said, this is just the retention system for the ball detent on your ratchet. Like I said, once again, we have no movement there, sliding in and out. We take the gear wrench. There it is, right there. Some sockets aren't as bad with these guys. Some sockets are worse. Like I said, that was my biggest complaint with these. But like I said, somebody had to make the comment that I am doing it wrong. I don't feel that I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with me, but this is just simple, mechanical thing. This hole in the socket is made for a detent system. There's no other detent system inside this. Chrome socket, multiple hole or dimples for the detent system. Hold socket on. So pretty simple, guys. Like I said to the person that made the comment that I'm doing it wrong, I think you need to go back to school or something, because this is a pretty common thing. It's been going on for years. But I figured I'd share that with you guys, whether it's right or wrong. This is how I use my chrome sockets. This is the type of impact that I use to use it on my hog ring impact gun. And like I said, it's not a common thing to tear these hog rings off. You see these anvils beat up. Anytime I've used a chrome socket on this guy, it's tore it off. So not an uncommon thing, but I figured I'd share that with you guys. And just sum that up with a comment, because it just kind of bugged me, got underneath my skin. If you like the video, give me a like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, just please drop them below and I'll try to answer them. For any of the other guys out there that made the comment about the ball joint press, I am going to try to make a video on that, this weekend, or, this coming following weekend. I just really haven't had a chance. I've had a lot on my plate with the holidays. And like I said, it's one of my most popular videos. And every piece in that is actually interchangeable with the snap-on. It will fit in the case, and I will explain all that when I do the video. It's one of the things I haven't used a lot of as far as the press itself. And if you watch the video, you'll know that I bought it for the Honda parts. I bought it for the Honda ball joint remover and installer, and also the 3500 Ram remover and installer. So those particular 6 pieces that come in that set additional, it will cost you probably in the area of $400 to $600 for the Honda stuff, and anywhere from $200 to $300 for the Ram 3500 stuff. So, I mean, it was like a win-win proposition for me, considering I already had a snap-on ball joint press, and it's all interchangeable. Like I said, if you want to take a C-clamp from the snap-on and put it in the box because you're worried about it breaking, that's exactly what I did. If I have to use it and my snap-on fails, now I can actually take the snap-on one, put it in there, and not have any issues. And like I said, I will go over that in another video. I didn't forget about you guys, and I just wanted you guys to know. But I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, give me a like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop them below. I'll be glad to answer them. Please don't leave derogatory comments. I mean, if you do and you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If I, gave some misappropriated information, please let me know. I'll be glad to sum that up as well, or answer any of those questions. But like I said, give me a like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.